Sorry everyone for all of that. Thank you for bearing with me and providing feedback on how to make the stream better. I do like the idea of making sure that I'm streaming the best I can stream. So thank you for all the feedback. Hopefully, fingers crossed, 60 FPS, audio should be a little bit easier to work with. Obviously that I can fix on the fly as well, so if anyone wants game audio louder, me louder, etc., I can do that. That's a little bit easier, and then the scoreboard should be in a slightly less goofy position, so hoping that at the very least you'll notice that change. But if there's anything else you need tweaked, just let me know, and we can make those tweaks. Yeah, stream should be live. Stream should be live. In theory. Yep, okay. So stream's back live. So, alright, next round of commentary. Just keep that in the chats or DMs me in Discord, etc. But unless there's any dumpster fire problems that chat reports, or DMs me in Discord, I should be good to go, and we should be able to start the next match. So, just... we'll see. Let me... oh man, I gotta remember to mute my... yep, sorry. You're gonna hear my keyboard for a hot second. Let me just quickly double check one more time, and thank you to both teams for bearing with me while I fix this. Just want to make sure that you guys can be streamed at a quality that people actually want to watch. But that should be going okay. There's no dumpster fire. Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna say we're good to start. Okay. We are about to get underway on match 2. Freezing every 20 seconds? Oh, jeez. Okay. That's not great. I'll see. Oh, you know what that is? Okay, the freezing is because I keep alt-tabbing to try to fix the stream, so I'll try to avoid alt-tabbing here. We have another start here with Pipeworks and Docking. Looks like the entire Marine team is going to build the Arms Lab this time around, so the commander can get started on Armor 1 a little bit faster. That's important. Armor 1, obviously the most important tech in the entire game of Natural Selection 2. It allows Marines to not be killed by a Skulk's Parasite bite, instead requiring 3 full bites. So obviously good to get that going sooner rather than later. Again, you'll see the split's a little different than last game, and I really like it. We have one Marine going straight up to organ donation to deny early and alien expansion, although aliens did not expand that way. We have 2 Marines going to repairs, 1 to supply lines, kind of covered by this offload Marine. There was 2 in gravity, although it looks like their commander was one of them, and he's coming back to Marine base just to make sure it's safe. CRT kind of moving through here to X to see if he can poke Oxy, although he will likely get pinched down by Opti. Yes. And then we have 2 Marines in Trash, likely going to poke Baywing? Hopefully Baywing? Nope, they're gonna split. I don't know if I like that split. I think it depends on what Dom's able to do here, but I think Dom's gonna get picked by Opti, unfortunately. I think it would have been better to keep 2 Marines on this pressure point here to really whack Baywing, although if Ref can kill even the Drifter, that would be... next time go for the Drifter. You know, the Drifter's 8 res, it's the same price as the Resource Tower, and way less HP, instead of kind of just putting some bullets on the Gorge that he can just heal off. You know, looking at the map again, we have aliens sort of expanding for that 3rd RT, like I mentioned before, an early waste expansion. It does look like they put some clogs, which are kind of the Gorge fortification. sort of blocking Marines from getting through this very tight doorway. And you can see that was enough to kind of push Marines away, although maybe Ionize will come back and sort of give it a shot. Jumping through there, and he does. Looks like he's going to walk right through the fortifications and start harassing Oxy here. We're going to have Greedy Slur coming from the back, but a ref has covered the vent exit, so that's going to be a dead Skulk. We're going to have a Gorge and 2 Skulks here against the Marines. Oh, but they lose the Gorge, and they do... Okay, Aliens do win the fight, but they lose the Gorge, which is 10 res. Not cheap. And unfortunately, that's going to give Marines a window here into the Pipeworks tunnel, which might result, yep, in a lost tunnel. That's Aliens' equivalent for fast travel. It looks like Aliens are going to try to do a big push here into Waste together. Galaxy should have waited for his team, did not. Looks like he died here. That's going to pull them down from 4 to 3. 3 versus 2 should be winnable for Aliens, but they're going in 1 by 1. Are they able to clear CRT? Yes. Okay, well, they're going to lose 3 for it, which does pull them off the map. Looks like Marines again pushing into Oxy, 1 in Pipe. This is looking pretty tough for Aliens here. Marines sort of holding all their resources for free on the map. Even though there's only 2 of them on the field right now, they're sort of locking the Aliens down in oxygenation, which is a pretty rough spot for Aliens to be in. If they can't clear them here in the next minute or so, it's going to be really, really hard for them to recover, and it looks like Marines are continuing to hold Oxy. We are getting a lurk coming up on the field. I mean, if I was, the Aliens here, I'd sort of wait for your team to respawn. There are no eggs for the Alien Skulk players to respawn at, although the lurk just kind of jumped in and fixed that situation. Really, the play is going to be an Alien pack, right? You need the Aliens to ball up in a big group and clear the Marines off the north side of the map. Doesn't look like that is... Although, okay, they're getting another Gorge. But with the Gorge and the lurk, they might be able to push here with a 4-man on the north side of the map. But I'm not sure how that's all going to shake out. Lurk cleaning Waste, Ionize, that's good, but... Again, we need the Alien players back on the field. So I'm sort of curious to see how they materialize that. Lurk getting chipped pretty bad by Dom here in Bay. Looks like a pretty safe flight, though, back to the Hive for healing, so I'm not super worried about that. A bunch of Aliens here in Oregon, but there's no resource tower here, so there's really no reason for Aliens to be in this room. We're finally seeing Opti lurk on the field. Opti, I think, is, looking at the scoreboard here, probably their strongest lurk. So hopefully, with 2 lurks and a Gorge, they're going to be able to sort of recapture a big part of the map that they lost. But again, we see... Okay, we're going to see a 4-man versus 2 here. Opti taking a bunch of bullets on the entry. Really hurt. Getting away, though. Greedy Slurk also really hurt. Hopefully he can disengage. He might get pinched by a ref if he's not careful, and he got pinched by a ref. It's a lurk down really early. It's not a great look. Skulk's immediately splitting off here in Baywing. Kind of tough, and Dinosaur sort of by himself in oxygenation. Again, Aliens really need to hold a consistent lane here in order to succeed, so... this is going to be really tough if Aliens can't hold this lane. Does look like... Okay, so Opti's keeping his lurk. That's good. Marines sort of slowly getting the technology they need. Weapons 1, armor 2 at 5 minutes. Reasonably on pace for Marine Tech, 5 RTs. They're not really overexpanding, and they're also sort of maintaining their resources by continuing to put really aggressive pressure on Aliens. So that's good for Marines, although it looks like... kind of really boils down to how Aliens want to handle this new Baywing gate that just went up. They haven't seen it yet, but it looks like Nur and Opti might spot it here in a second. Looks like they're trying to sneak around and get Domestus here, who they've spotted in Oxy. Domestus doing a ton to Opti, although it looks like Opti's going to get away just fine. We're going to have so Gravity Baywing gates. That's good for Aliens in some ways, because it gives Aliens access to the left side of the map, which they've taken advantage of here, knocking out electrical core and now supply lines. Losing Oregon here is going to be kind of a big blow to them, so we'll see if they can save Oregon. It might barely stay up. We'll see. Alien structures lose health every time they're not on this sort of colored infestation, so we're going to see how that plays out for them. The Gorge is going to come and recover the resource tower. That's good for Aliens, although Aliens might then immediately lose Oxy to a ref and Ionize. Opti's trying to sort of stall for Alien teammates to show up. A 3v2, Aliens should win this. No problem. But again, with this Baywing Gate and this Gravity Gate, it's going to be very difficult for aliens to get a Waste Hive. They may have to swing for Electrical Core, and we'll see if they do that. But, you know, Marines having access to the north side of this map means that it's often very difficult for aliens to recover. Oh man, that's not good. I must have had my mic muted for... It's not great. No. Sorry everyone, if that was the case for the mic being muted for a while. Oh, it looks like it might have only been muted for a minute here. It's not too bad, I guess. Not kind of embarrassing, but sorry. Yeah, you know, I appreciate, again, thank you for everyone for being patient. It's really embarrassing for sure, but also, you know, I did warn the league that this is my first time kind of streaming this sort of thing, so you know, bear with me. I'm gonna quickly change my map transparency while we wait between matches. I'm not sure if the other matches are complete here, so that might take a second for that to take place here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So map opacity's gone down a bit, so the map isn't just blocking everyone's gameplay. Suggestion, Wraith. But yeah, we're just waiting for the next match here. I don't know what the other bracket looks like right now. Let me see if I can take a look. Go into here. Let's see. That looks okay. Here. Bober is still here. Good. Yeah, so I guess we're just kind of waiting around for the next match. I guess for now, I can probably see if the delay is working. Delay is still on. Yeah, so, you know, let me see if there's any other items I can... Yeah. I'm seeing the chats. I know I was muted. I'm sorry. It was embarrassing. But it should be fixed now. If you guys can't hear me anymore at this point, then obviously I've really cooked it somehow, but hopefully it's all working. I'm looking at what I'm streaming with and it says it's working, so hopefully that's the case, but shall see. Turns out there's a lot more going on in the stream than I originally anticipated, so again, apologies for that. But yeah, I mean, last match was very strong for Marines. You know, just talking about the last match, but last match was strong for Marines. I think Aliens just kind of struggled from minute one. Hopefully in our next match here, we will see a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're going to see. I don't know. Again, I don't know what the output of the first match's set was. It might be quite close. So maybe we will see if scoot over there, see if that match is still going. Looks like it might be. Let me see if I can scoot in there. Let's see. We're gonna cheat our way into the other server here and see if we can at least sort of watch the end half of this match, and just see how that's going. So we have something to look at and have a sense of how it's going, because no one is telling me how the match is going. So I'm gonna cheat and join them here. So let's see what we got. Unveil. here. Okay, it looks like we are in the middle of match 2. Crush Nazis leading hand washers 1-0. Looks like we have some... What the hell is going on here? Okay, we got sentries and system waypointing. We got a whole bunch of mines all across the map. 2 sets of sentries. Okay, one in nano, one in system. Obviously, Marines were interested in making sure they get their win here, so they don't go down into losers bracket. But it looks like all the sentries have done here is sort of lock aliens out of the center and left sides of the map. Although it looks like Marines just lost their resource tower here in Skylights. Let's see if I can get a spread of what's going on with the tech here. Okay, so it looks like aliens have been holding a reasonable amount of resources, given looking at their tech tree here. And Marines have been doing the same, so it looks like it's been kind of a bit of a stalemate situation here. Looks like if Marines so much as walk out of their key fortified areas, they get whacked by Green Rex or some of the other life forms. Although, looking here, I also see just sort of like lurks goofing around in cargo, so I'm wondering if maybe there's going to be a push here with these 2 lurks in the Fade. Although, again, I've seen kind of a holding pattern. Although, maybe we see 2 lurks and 2 skulks. Looks like the aliens are sort of dodging... Ooh, Kame eating it on that mine. And it looks like... Ooh, yep, goes to Kiev, eating it on the mine and immediately getting shotgunned by Justy. What a great mine placement, catching the lurk off guard. We got 2 skulks here biting... Resource tower and sub, you know, this is how you want to play around marine fortified areas, right? You want to take the advantage of these side lanes, sort of sneak around and hit resource towers to make Marines poor. Although it looks like, despite that, Marines are able to sort of get back to recapturing quickly. We'll see if Vemer versus Duddy goes well for Vemer. In theory, in a 1v1 matchup, Marines should be able to clear a skulk without much issue, but kind of boils down to the skill of the players as well. We'll see Duddy making moves on the resource tower. Vemer. Let's see if he's able to push Duddy out. Gets a good hit on Duddy. Up. Second skull coming in. That's going to be rough for Vemer. Is he going to be able to clean them up? He's close. Barely able to clean the 1v2 with the welder. And save the resource tower, which would have likely gone down if he died. And not entirely sure what the game plan is for both teams. With the skulks dying in Overlook, obviously they're going to be respawning, but... looks like they're both teams are just sort of teching up right now. Not necessarily a bad thing, but definitely a slower pace than the last 2 games we saw over on Jambi. And that is okay. We have a Marine building the White Junction power. Could be the sign for a push into cargo, although I'm not entirely sure. Looks like he's going to get it up, but he's going to immediately be killed by Kame. We have Green Rex here in position, looking like he might want to poke the Marine base, although he doesn't have any friends to go with him to do any structure damage. You know, Fades, obviously excellent player killers, but not particularly strong against structure, so you can see Green Rex baiting a few shots, sort of keeping Marines busy, but not really able to do a whole lot of damage by himself. Come down in here into... Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at the alien team, they're all kind of bunched up in cargo, and I'm not entirely sure what the... And it's sort of unusual to see aliens bunched up defensively like this when Marines are also bunched up defensively. So this is kind of a strange map state that I'm not entirely sure how to respond to. Looks like aliens are going to take their Onos, really the tank, bulky life form of the team, and they're going to take it through system to West Junction. I really don't know how I feel about that one. Looks like they're going to run straight into Marine Main from a really rough position. Onus is immediately going to get melted by all the shotguns. Aliens did just kind of walk in and clear all the Marines, although the Lurks are really hurt, and so is the Fade. But if they can keep the Marines cleared, it might not matter. One Lurk going down. Fade left. Fade's still in the room, although all the Lurks are dead. Marines having to waste all their resources beaconing, which respawns Marines on their infantry portals. Fade also killing himself in Marine Main, and Aliens calling it GG. Very strange second game there. I'm not entirely sure how that materialized. Let me quickly update the... I guess I can update the scoreboard. Well, I'll keep the scoreboard for Boba versus Ultimate New Haven, since I'm sort of just half casting here. But looks to me like a so that was crushing up. I keep getting the team screwed up. Okay, so that's definitely not 2-0. It's definitely 1, unless they didn't flip the teams. I don't actually know who's on which team. Was that? I need to know. Like, is this a win for Rush Nazis? I'm gonna guess the answer is yes. I mean, really have gotten. They should have sent me the team roster so I see who I'm expecting to be dealing with here. So it looks like it's gonna be Boba versus W Mouse 1. Or what team that, or what server that will be on. Oh, it's a scrim. Green's team already won there. Thanks, Datsu. I'm late. He's late. Okay. Okay, so we're doing match 2 winner versus. Let me quickly check here. So we just watched some scrims by accident. I was under the impression that was the match, given the scoreboard was bugged. So scrims obviously just being kind of a casual match between players and not part of the tournament. That would explain some of the weird, goofy stuff I was seeing. But kind of amusing to at least watch that instead of just stare at an empty zombie map. Yes, Wraith, I will be off to stream the Ranger versus Ober game. Let me... Which server? Check that. Possibly go back to where I was before. Let's see. Where? No, it's probably this one. Yeah. That out. Okay. We are scooting on into the server here with everyone. Oh wow, everyone's all nice and ready and everything. Okay. Give me a hot second to get the scoreboard sorted out and stand by. One moment. Okay, scoreboard should be up and running. As far as I can tell, I'm ready. I'm ready to get started if everyone else is. Holy, what a team for W plus Mouse 1. Best of luck to Bober. It's going to be a tough match for them. Really strong players on the other team here. I guess not particularly surprising, but you'll see how that swings. Are political opinions allowed on team names? That's... Look, that's an... Feel free to take that up with the NSL admins. I don't have a strong... My take is not going to be healthy or helpful. But yes, that was a point of discussion at an earlier pre-tournament point, and I don't believe I was privy to the result of that, other than obviously it was approved in some capacity. But hopefully, you know, we can move into these matches here. I'm hoping we get some nice high-octane gameplay. Looking forward to seeing some good matches out of W plus M1. Obviously, the running joke here, of course, that the best gameplay is done when you run straight forward and hold your shoot button and just sort of let the rest play itself. We're just waiting on Bober here. We are ready. We are going to get our match started in 15 seconds, so let's give it up for Bober and W plus Mouse 1 as we getting into match 1 of the second set of the tournament in the winner's bracket. Okay, so Aliens have opted to start in Pipeline. You know, Pipeline, generally speaking, a reasonably good hive pick here, especially because Cargo is probably one of the safest hive locations in the game. Looks like Aliens are going to go for early expansion into Cargo, C12, and Nanogrid, going for a 5 RT opening. Really strong if Aliens can hold it. I think Aliens, expecting an early lead, are going to really try to maximize that lead with 5 resource towers. We have Billy Gorge kind of going up here and putting his clogs in East Junction instead of Nanogrid, which is quite reasonable given that, you know, looking at the map here, you know, you can see that Marines are going to try to come down here, and he's kind of sort of blocking early rather than in the room itself. So that's all good. And in the meantime, Aliens with 2 drifters, each one building a resource tower in Cargo NC12, Billy Gorge building in Nanogrid. We do have a Marine who managed to sneak his way through system waypointing up into Nano. We'll see if he can catch Billy by surprise. He does, but Shu was there ambushing, waiting for him to come into the room. Billy takes a couple bullets. Shu gets the kill. Excellent fight for Aliens. Not really a problem. We have Ranger out of the hive here, sort of making sure he's setting up an ambush as Marines sort of come down here into East. You know, Marines slowly capping the left side of the map while this is happening, which is good, although we have Noki sort of beginning to poke that. Excellent play here by 3 Aliens, pushing in, clearing 2 Marines, looking like they're going to clear a 3rd. Solid Snake in the vent with a 4th alien coming in behind him. Missing 2 parasites. I see you, Paper Bird. But aliens all know he's in this vent now, and that's now 5 aliens against Solid Snake. Solid Snake able to clear Ranger. No med support. Not able to clear Billy, unfortunately. I think he was the comm out of the chair, so too bad on that one. Dom and Lois, looks like they did clear the last alien out of Topo, but, you know, with Marines working this hard for their first resource tower, this is not looking particularly strong, but, you know, times can change. We do get Marines down into Cargo, which is great. Resource tower almost went down, so that's almost a good sign, although it is going to pin Billy down into Cargo, sort of way far away from the rest of the map while he's healing the resource tower. Although he's going to get some benefit by healing the 2 lurks down here. By healing the eggs, the life forms that are incubating or cooking in the eggs are going to hatch a little bit faster. And then they're going to get right on the field and immediately probably start causing all manner of chaos. RF doing great damage to Paper Bird, but getting cleaned up, no problem, in sub. Paper Bird going back to the Gorge for healing, and then the aliens in a nice, clean 4-alien pack moving up the left side to sort of dominate the resource towers for Marines here. In the meantime, though, Marines doing a great job going from East Junction to Nano while the aliens are out of position. Shu dying to Domestus. Oh man, I look away for 2 seconds and Shu flashes his lurk. Nice, clean, easy, goofy moment for Shu. But Marine's able to clean Nanogrid, which is Great for Great for Marines. We'll see if they can hold that lead for clearing these 2 resource towers. Armor 2 coming up for Marines. No gates, unfortunately, so they're not going to be able to solidify their hold on Nano until they can get phase gates and fast travel, most likely. Although, it really kind of depends on how well they can hold against their, aliens losing that 1 lurk early. They are down to just half the lurk strength, so it's possible they can hold for longer, but we'll see how it pans out. We have a Ref and Lois going here into cargo to try to harass the resource tower. Shu, great ambush, clearing Lois immediately. Lurk coming in, finishing the job on a Ref. No pressure for Marines down south. And unfortunately, if you look at the map here, aliens have this nice block cleared again. They can probably assist right back into Nano when Ranger feels like he wants to do that right now and recap that. So, a setback for sure for aliens, but probably not a super deadly one. Striker Hive going up nice and slow with a Drifter. Not a big deal for aliens. They have plenty to spend their resources on if they wish, without needing to worry about the Hive bit kind of building. Billy has sort of switched off Gorge now to sort of got himself through the early game and is working his way through as a Skulk to sort of harass Marine resource towers. Marines continuing to recap the left side, which is good for them. They're kind of pushing their way up to 4 resource towers since Topographical will die here. 4 is totally fine for Marines. It's not ideal, but it's fine. We'll see if we're able to hold that left side. We'll see Ranger immediately pressuring Overlook, so we'll see how long that holds. Noki clearing Domestus. You can clear Solid Snake here. That's going to put Marines in a really rough spot. Solid clears Noki. That's good. Dom clears Ranger. So that's great that the whole left side here is still held by Marines. Unfortunately, they're not cooking any tech at the moment. That's not a great sign. Marines should pretty much always have some tech of some sort coming up. A second IP, okay, in case there's a wipe. That's reasonable, especially given that life forms are on the field. It looks like 35 P-Res is when Fades come up, and it looks like we're going to be getting them in about a minute or so, given that aliens are back on 5 resource towers. And then an excellent fight here by 2 Skulks and a Lurk, clearing out Solid Snake and CRT. Likely sub-resource tower is going to die here. Aliens now clearing Marines out of Overlook as well. That's going to be 2 lost Marine resource towers. Domestus applying some solar pressure to C12. There really aren't any aliens over on that side of the map unless LMG wants to move over there, but she might be. Looks like he's going to maybe move over there through east. But he's going to be too slow. This RT is already dying pretty quickly. So he might just let that RT go down. Ranger coming in to support with LMG, but I think the RT is probably going to go down. Let's see. Ranger dying here, yeah, and the RT going down. And that's totally fine. Good job, Domestus, for doing that solo pressure. In the meantime, that sort of pulled some alien energy away from the left side of the map. And given Marines that chance to sort of recapture south lane. We will see how long they can hold it. But with no phase gates anywhere into the field... Oh, I guess we see the observatory here, which is required to get phase gates set up. Provides passive alien detection in a certain radius. But without phase tech started, I'm not seeing phase gates anytime soon. And no phase gates at 6 minutes, 30 seconds is pretty late by pub standards. I don't know about the comp meta perfectly for phase gates, but it's tough. Paper Bird really fucking low. But he's going to get out with Noki Fade coming in supporting him. But unfortunately, with Marines not able to get phase gates, and this is sort of the problem with waiting too long for phase gates. If Fades are on the field especially, you really need that pressure of fast travel. Otherwise, the time it takes to walk down to the map and then get cleared by aliens is so long. It's just really hard to apply the pressure you need to apply as Marines. And you'll see here sort of what happened, right? You have Lloyd's coming in here, Ranger just stalling, waiting for Paper Bird to come and support him. Ranger's going to keep biting the RT because Lloyd's jumped down here. And you'll notice he has no way of shooting Ranger while he's biting that resource tower. Paper Bird's going to come clean him up. That RT's going to go down. CRT getting wiped by Noki and Paper Bird. Domestus waiting for another spawner and Solid Snake to support going left again. A ref trying some solo pressure in C12. Might get successful. He's shooting the Sisks first so that the resource tower takes passive damage from being off of Infestation. But I think him in a 1v1 versus Noki, this is a very bad matchup for a single rifle Marine. And then with a Lurk in addition, there's pretty much no chance he's going to get anything done there. Big Marine push down with phase gate tech almost done and Overlook. They're gonna, if they can get an Overlook gate, they can at least try to secure a couple of resource towers and maybe make their way back into the game. Again, as I talked about in some of the matches with Bober versus Ultimate Noob Haven, 3 alien hives is really Marines' breaking point where they can't come back. So with 2 hives on the field and a 3rd hive point in subsector that can be hotly contested from Overlook, Marines could keep themselves in the game that way, although it looks like they did not opt to drop a phase gate here, which is the normal spot to drop it, so I'm not entirely sure what their plan is. Sort of looks to me like they're in a tough spot here, but going to system waypointing and sort of fizzling. Aliens getting a tunnel here right next to subsector with a bunch of structures to help support the team. Looks like they're getting ready to drop that hive all too soon. Paper Bird not going down. And Domestus coming in with a shotgun, which is good, but he's going to lose the resource tower and Overlook, which is pretty rough. Chu is not going to quite get out of the room alive, but Billy is going to poke. I'm guessing that Marines are going to be... They're going to drop the resource tower first, which is not unreasonable, but just kind of the clock is ticking for them. Once that 48 resources is up for Aliens, they're probably going to drop that hive. And it will be very difficult for Marines to pop it with all the life forms in the room. So their hope is sort of to push in before that point. They're pushing in without a phase gate, and they're splitting 2 and 2. I don't know how I feel about that play, given that Aliens have 2 fades up on the field and a lurk. I think that exactly what's going to happen here is 2 fades and the lurk, and that structures are going to come in, wipe. And then they're going to do the same thing in Overlook now with possibly a 5-man. Yep, it's a 4-man, and the structure's coming behind. You know, shotguns are strong. They're able to hold off a lot, down to 3 players now pushing. But I don't see how they're going to be able to come out of this easily. The structure's now moving all the way to the gate to try to provide more pressure for Aliens. Paper Bird providing some spike damage. The gate's going to come up, which is good. I'm sure there's a bunch of... Yeah, you got a bunch of Marines here waiting in skylights. I'm not sure why they're not waiting near the phase gate, but... Point being, they're all on the left side of the map, with the exception of, again, a ref putting some pressure on C12. Which would be good, except for the fact that that was Aliens, you know, it's their 6th RT, so really your play is to hyperfixate here, probably, for a hot second, just to make sure you don't get surprised by a hive drop. So we are seeing Marines start to push into this this clump here of structures. Loy's doing a great job going around the corner, whacking Paper Bird Lurk, so good on him for that. Tunnel's going to go down in sub. Billy Fade's going to start poking. Domestic's going to go down. Noki and Billy cleaning up the other shotgun, although Billy taking another meat shot to the face. He can't take a third, but there's no one to really provide that third meat shot anytime soon. Although Billy's almost dead. Almost went down to that rifle, a ref in system. A ref going to recover the shotgun. Marine weapons will drop on the floor when they die, and especially for expensive weapons like shotguns, very helpful to have a teammate sort of standing on top of them, picking them up and dropping them on the floor so that a teammate can slowly come in and grab it. And you'll see here, this is a much better clump here of 4 Marines sort of in this area, covering each other, and sort of locking Aliens out of that subsector nanogrid lane. Or excuse me, subsector system waypointing lane, which is good. Although Aliens are going to notice that that's 4 Marines away from a major gate, they're going to poke their main and force a beacon, which cost 10 resources to do, was required, or they would have, Aliens probably would have closed the game right there, but... you know, 10 resources when you're on 3 resource towers and are really hurting for tech, it stings. So, you know, definitely a strong play by Aliens to do that. You know, Crag is still alive, 65% HP. It's not super tanky, but doesn't have to be to get the job done of healing alien players nearby. We've got another tunnel coming up here. It looks like the alien commander very invested, and rightly so, in getting access to this sub-hive by having... support. Noki Fade going down to these 2 shotguns here, just absolutely blasted by them and a rifle. We're going to see here 2 really hurt Marines. They're getting med support. Other Fade Billy goes down to 2 shotguns. This is huge. With just 2 lurks on the fields, Aliens are really in a rough spot in terms of life forms, although looking at the resources, you know, LMG might be going Onos or Fade, which would be good to kind of keep Alien momentum strong, but losing both Fades at this point in the game can really pivot things for Marines. So this is a key moment for them now that they're down. Aliens are down 2 Fades, and their commander is forced to sort of split time between commanding and lurking. It looks like Shu is going Fade to recover the Fade Void, so that's good. Hopefully his Fade is a little bit stronger than his lurk was this game. No shade. But I'm sure he can fill the gap to some degree. 2 Marines pushing from system with a new system gate into Nano to try to start harassing that resources, especially with, you know, looking at the alien resources. You know, there's no Fades anytime soon other than Shu, so if they can keep the resources low, they can, in theory, really keep lifeforms off the field for the time being. Unfortunately, with the Marines in Nanogrid and not covering their gate, they lose the gate. Ranger Lurk going down, though, that's definitely a good trade for them. Shu Fade flashing! Shu, it gotta be absolutely clinked out of his mind to be flashing 2 life forms like that. Oh man, that's not a good day for him, but that's okay. Match 1. I'm sure he can. I'm sure he'll get it under control soon here. Paper Bird re-lurking, but Alien's really losing a lot in those fights. Down now, all fades with an Onos and a Lurk and all their life forms, and Paper Bird by himself and Overlook. Probably not what you want to be doing with your last Lurk on the field. Hopefully he's going to kind of go back to Alien territory here. Because if he goes down, that would be really rough for Aliens. Looks like Marines are capitalizing now on the fact that Aliens are mostly Skulks at this late stage in the game, going for a gate in Wide Junction, likely for a shotgun rush into cargo. Looks like the Skulk pressure is a little bit overwhelming, unfortunately, with the Onos running at full tilt into that last Marine and clearing him off the map. You know, with Onos melting so easily against Marine pressure, but being so miserably difficult to deal with against a single, with 1 Marine. You know, this is, you can't touch this 1 Marine. 3 Marines, however, 2 coming around the corner. LMG caught off guard, I think, by the shotgun and 2 rifles, barely getting out of there. Unfortunately, Aliens did get cleared, but they were able to clear the resource tower, which is what they came for. So, you know, overall a good fight for Aliens. Aliens still sitting on 5 resource towers with topographical, Dano, cargo, and pipeline, probably capping C12 for a 6th. They're going to get their life forms back all too soon, so really the question boils down to, you know, are Marines going to take advantage of this brief window they have when Aliens are down to just 2 life forms on the field? And it looks to me like they're kind of pushing their way back into system, which would be nice in order to make sure that they can kind of get their way over to cargo, but we shall see. You know, 2 system, 1 main, possibly Overlook, 1 Topo, and 1 Skylights. I mean, if Aliens want to clump up and clear system, they certainly could. Shu checking Skylights for a resource tower. See CRT. It's going to get pushed out. CRT is going to keep building that resource tower, and Domestus is going to clean Shu as he kind of retreats back into here. Good job on Domestus. Unfortunately, the Aliens are going to do a 5-man into system, and they're going to absolutely whack Marines waiting there. It looks like they're going to push hard for Overlook Gate, and if they get Overlook Gate, Marines are completely routed out of the map. So Marines really have to be careful making sure that they're covering Overlook. They're going to come hard up to CRT. CRT turning around, not paying attention, getting whacked by Ranger. Ranger and Billy now biting down Skylights. We'll see if Marines can respond to that. Dom sort of fooling around in C12. Let's see if he's able to get that RT down. He's definitely going to get it here with Ranger dead and out of the chair. No cysts anywhere nearby. That RT's probably going to die. Let's see. Skylight's saved, but very hurt, and no Marines welding, so quite likely it will die to the next Skulk that makes its way over there. We're going to have a push here in system. Skulk going down. Onos beginning to poke? Possibly no? Okay. Onos knows he doesn't want to walk into a shotgun and 3 rifles, and he's going to bide his time. Billy sneaking his way through the vents here in Nanogrid, making his way over to Skylights, probably to finish this RT off. And there's nothing to stop him from doing so. Looks like we're going to have a push here from Marines into Nanogrid. I really do not think this is the... I mean, it might be the correct play, given they let Noki Fade come back up on the field, but I really think that the... You know, they kind of squandered that window of no life forms on the field in a way that might cost them the game. We'll see. Nice bone wall by Ranger here, blocking a ref off from his teammates and letting the Onos and Fade just sort of clean up the shotgun and the rifle. Fade's going to come in and clear a ref. Marines really not even spawned, let alone able to defend the system gate, and that system gate is cooked. You can see the sort of yellow Umbra effect from the Lurk, which reduces Marine bullet damage on aliens and alien structures with the effect. So really, this is a strong push from aliens, and there's kind of nothing Marines can do when they're in the spawn queue like that. Noki possibly stuck on something, but he's gonna get out just fine. We have 2 Marines here, sort of. Onos is just waiting for the Umbra support. Once he gets it, you can see the shotgun does barely anything to him. Marines are going to get cleared out of sub. No problemo. Noki's going to push a ref. A ref's going to do some great damage, but Noki's just going to get away, no problem. We have Onos harassing system power. This is sort of how Marines keep their structures operational, are these power nodes. You know, if an alien were to knock this out, all the Marine-powered structures would unpower and become useless. And it also stalls Marines that are coming back into the room because they have to rebuild that power node where their structures work. Again, you know, this is because of the nature of Veil with 4 tech points. This is where all the fighting is going to take place until Marines can sort of get themselves back into a better situation. In the meantime, aliens are going to keep getting tech. You know, 6 RTs, they are rich out of their minds. And they're going to be getting advanced swipe, which increases the damage of Fade players. Which they certainly have with Billy going Fade again. And it's just going to be harder and harder for Marines to make headway. And you can see the spawn queue is deepening with Marines getting wiped by these Fades. Noki getting stuck, but unfortunately with all of this, this is probably GG here with 4 aliens just sort of sitting on the gate with Umbra and Spore support. There's probably not a dang thing Marines can do about it. I don't know if I agree with this play of Lionize going over here when Marines are desperate for sub, but perhaps he's trying to pull some attention, but reasonably, Noki's just going to kind of walk over, check, see he's there, and just wipe him off the field. We're going to see some biting down of the last remaining resource tower for Marines, but again, with the Hive drop in sub, no Marine presence outside of their main base. Yeah, I was going to say they're probably going to call GG. And with that, that is the end of match 1. You know, great job, Marines, for clearing all those life forms. You just had to, in my humble opinion, the correct play was to, you know, take advantage of that window and make a shotgun push into cargo. I know you didn't have the ideal tech, but pushing on a Skulk-only team with 1 Lurk, probably your play. Even if you could just kill the Onos, that would have been great too. But unfortunately, sort of spreading out again after you had those life form kills probably cost you in a great way. But great play altogether, and really, you know, great match. It's good to watch. I'm going to briefly, in quotes, freeze the stream while I update the scoreboards. Just give me a hot second to do that. Okay, scoreboard should be updated. All right. So, that was sort of the opening for match 1. Hopefully the stream is going okay. In 3 minutes, I guess the chat will tell me, but hopefully that hasn't been having any problems. Hopefully I haven't been muted the whole time or something stupid. Oh, thank God. Okay. Looks like the stream is still going okay. I'll triple check. Okay. Stream's going okay. I'm a little self-conscious after muting myself for multiple minutes and having some trouble earlier, but if everything's going okay with the stream, and the teams are feeling good, that is wonderful news. So we're just going to wait a quick second here. I'm going to quickly go on mute. I'll be right back. Okay. Quickly ready myself up here. Looks like there was a sub on the Bobers team. It looks like they replaced... Name eludes me. I think they did. I think they did a replacement. Not a big deal. We'll see if Wraith is going to get knocked back down to tier 3 at the end of this match. Chad, please let me know if there's any like goofy nonsense with the stream before we get started with the next one. Just want to make sure that while the teams are getting ready, there's nothing weird that I should fix before we get started with the next match. Just let me know. We can see if we can I can maybe fix it on the fly. Anything, audio levels, quality, anything you can think of. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the best experience you can get while we stream these open matches. Sweet. What's going on here? A little fiesta over here. Is this Shu getting ready to apologize for his lurk and fade play? They're all kind of up top. A little bit of marine monkey bars. Looks like not all marine jumping is created equal. Paper Bird may get in, and everyone else is still figuring it out. Oh, white. Nope. Those are some of these things people just do. A 2 out of 4 in there. Looks like she ran away. Come back, Shu. Where are you going? That starts in 15 seconds. 10 seconds here, and we'll be getting into round 2 of set 2 of the official open. Alright, so we're going to see Alien starting in sub this time. Kind of an aggressive start for Alien sub, often known as the hardest hive to defend against Marines, but it can be held well, can lead to some really aggressive expansion from the Alien team. Marines sort of moving quietly down the left side of the map and the right side of the map. The commander using the Mac to help with construction early, which is nice. Aliens expanding here through Y junction with the Drifter, probably down to cargo and up through... They expand through Systa? I don't see any Systs in Nano yet. Let's see how they expand there. I assume they're going to try to expand through Y junction, which is a slightly safer Syst route, but I don't see any Systs in there yet. Oh, they're putting it. I see they're putting a tunnel down and just infesting it straight away. Tunnels are another source of infestation if they can get to 100% maturity, which is sort of the it ticks up slowly over time on all alien structures once they're finished building, and it provides them with a little bit of extra HP. For tunnels at 100%, it provides sort of that extra bonus, although in competitive, it seems to apply at any maturity. So I can see that that is their strategy here to get Nano without systing. Noki, unfortunately, broke straight through system and is now in cargo, knocking the syst chain out. And now there is a 2-man going into Nano from Marines, immediately clearing the 2 Skulks. Gorge is in big trouble. Wraith... barely making... Oh. What a line of sight. I don't know about that, Chief, but... Paper Bird able to clip his fat Gorge butt right there and clearing the Gorge. Tunnel's going to go down in Nano near instantly. 3 Marines in system, blocking aliens. Aliens having to spawn eggs because there's so many dead Skulks. Really going down, LMG player. Not able to get a kill. Good. We don't want aliens to be relying any more heavily on their eggs. You can see their egg count in the bottom right. That number stays 0 for too long. It can really screw them up. And they call GG immediately. Yeah, this is sort of the risk with a subsector start, as you get locked down in system waypointing, and you are out of the game. So, unfortunately, that was a all-too-quick game 2 of the set here, and a close to the winner's set, putting Bober down into loser's bracket. And W plus M1 going into next round of winner's bracket. I'm going to quickly freeze the stream, and I'm going to update the scoreboard, so we all have it. And then I'm going to quickly check in and see if the other matches are complete. I might ask these 2 teams if they're interested in doing a scrim in the meantime, just so we have something to watch. Let me ask. Matches are over on the other side of things. Actually, maybe I can ask. Let's see if I can ask. Not suited. Well, Rob hasn't seen the match conclude yet, but 3 minutes from now, Rob is going to appreciate that, yes, it does appear as though Wraith has a massive dump truck of a Gorge, and it's going to cost him pretty dearly in that game, so I guess we can decide whether or not that's Wraith's skill or Paperbird's skill, but either way, it's sort of an unfortunate match for them. Let me see who's available. Oh. Alright, so we're going to briefly go to the other server and see if the match is still rolling over there. It should be... Which one is it? Well, I mean, it looks... Well, no, this is the German one. Let's see. Looks like they still have their match going. I don't know the score, unfortunately, because it's going to be buggy. But it does look like... Let's see, who's spectating? Looks like... Crazy might be spectating. Let me go in there really quick and take a look. It's going to boot me. Because I forgot to put in a password. Whoops. Yeah. Let's just put that in. Plug that away.
Robotic assistance required.
Let me just quickly... Let me just quickly ask the players, I guess, since the specs are not answering me. No. Let me just triple check the score, and then if it looks like we can do a scrim, I'll go ahead and cast a scrim for, on the other server while we wait for this set to wrap up. Hey, is this your one hand washers? Are we clear to do a scrim on the other server while we wait for you guys to wrap up your set? Wonderful. All right, I will see the winner for this this round here, facing off against M1 Mouse 1. Best of luck, guys. Meantime, notify the players that so we're gonna go ahead and see if we can do a scrim. Rangers playing versus Troy at the moment. I don't mind who does the scrim. That's fine. I just well, looks like there's some discussion about what server we'll be going to, so I guess we'll wait for that to pan out. Sort of at the whim of
Ranger, please.
that.
200 ping.
Oh, I just need to know what server it is when you guys pick so that I'm over there. Are we? Is this a scrim or is this an actual match that you guys are trying? No, it's a scrim.
Actual, not,
Did Troy somehow cobble another team together? I'm under the impression that that match was not. Hand Washers is still going? Or is that loser's bracket? I guess that's loser's bracket, right? Hold on, now I gotta go check my dang brackets. Oh, I see. So it'll be Troy versus Ranger. Yep. That's fine. Just let me know what server you guys want to do, and we can scoot over there. Doesn't matter to me. Sorry for the confusion, everyone in chat. This is a lot of the ENSL admins are actually in the matches, so it's difficult to pin one of them down and get a sense of what's going on. Alright, so sorry about that. Just wanted to get the scoreboard set up and clear a final thing with the teams. Looks like we'll be playing on this server. and we will be playing on a... Maybe we'll play on Veil again? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Promise I have not muted myself on accident. That was a purposeful mute. Ready to type and chat a whole bunch of places. I think these teams are mostly here. I don't fully know what the agreement was, though. So, let's see if we can iron all that out. Thank you for bearing with us as we sort all of this out. Okay. Ah, great. We're back on Veil. Can't seem to get enough of this. This is the sort of, most bread and buttered standard map in the game. I guess in the meantime, while we wait for teams to figure themselves out, we can talk a little bit about the map for folks who are either newer, coming back, or unfamiliar with the game. Bear with me, advanced players. I'm sure you've heard this 10,000 times. Marines always start on the top of the map in control. Their goal is to sort of make their way down to either the left side of the map here and collect these resources, or the right side of the map and collect these resources. The middle of the map is often where the aliens will start their expansion point. They'll either expand from pipeline, sub, or cargo to the middle of the map. At a certain key flashpoint in the game, Marines will often set up either here, 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 and we'll use those points as staging grounds to push aliens out of this middle of the map, at which point aliens have to figure out either a side of their own, or they're kind of starved for the rest of the game. So that's generally speaking how this map plays out. We'll obviously see how that plays in practice with these two teams. So we'll kind of see that together, but generally speaking, just to give people a bit more context on what the heck we're looking at, I'm sure you've seen where the resource towers are dropped and what that means, but, just some clear sort of standard nature for this map. Probably the single most played map in the game. And anyone who's played the game has probably stumbled onto this one at least once, if not 100 times, and so, the oldest bread and butter in the book. Very curious to see, this is kind of, as far as I'm aware, this is Seed 1 and Seed 2, so very curious to see these two teams go at it and see kind of get from there. Just gonna casting team versus. Oh. Thanks, Green Rex, for confirming, but I am here. I'm ready to go. I promise. So it looks like aliens first. Second map is the same side. Yeah. All right. We're almost there. But yeah, obviously, if there's any questions in Obviously, during the matches, if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to ask. I'll obviously answer them 3 minutes late, if not later, but happy to sort of help players who are unfamiliar with, new to the game, anything in between. But, you know, obviously the chat engagement is limited to that 3-minute delay, so they might be very one-directional answers. But I'm excited. Hopefully these are going to be the highest Octane match. I'm hoping these are the highest Octane matches of the tournament. Fingers crossed. We shall see, but I'd love to see some really excellent play from both teams here. You know, I didn't expect this to be so difficult on the voice to be doing this non-stop for 2 hours. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but definitely space. It does look like we're about to get started on the match here, which gee, it's just not. Oh, that's right, the scoreboard on the. Yeah, try to ignore the scoreboard in game. It's probably bugged out of its mind, so just worry about my scoreboard in the top left. We'll hopefully get the next match underway in just a second. Fingers crossed. Please. Be great. Love to. See if we can get that going. I mean... Oh, wow. Jeez. We're gonna have some nice, strong players, though, in this match. It's good. Hopefully Shu doesn't flash his Lurk, or his Fade, for that matter. But I guess we'll find out. We'll see if Shu is still as clinked as he was last games. Five seconds. Okay, we are about to get started on match 1 on the 3rd round of the winner's bracket. W-Mouse1 against Crush. We're going to have Crush here pretty much immediately, all building the Arms Lab. This is kind of what you'd expect. Arms Lab coming out for that fast Armor 1. And then immediately having the teams split out to Topo and Skylights. And we do see W-Mouse1 starting in sub again. Again, this is the high-risk, high-reward spot. So, you know, we're going to see how they pilot this compared to Bobert. And you can see immediately the difference here in Billy focusing all of his clog effort down here in the system hallway, sort of block Marines moving in, and you can see 2 Skulks here providing that stalling factor so the Gorge can build kind of issue-free. You see a Skulk diving in on the Marine here, he's going to die. This is kind of a rough spot to take engagements, and even with 2 Skulks dying, though, that's 1 Marine cleared off the map, another one parasited, and you can see both Marines immediately taking this lane, but giving enough time for a Ranger show up here and start ambushing, and the Marines can see those clogs. They likely think that Skulk is nearby. That might slow them down. I mean, we'll see. See Marine jumping over and getting absolutely whacked by Hydra. As you can see, he's down to just... What is he at? He's at 48, 2 spits. Yep, dead. Gone. You can see sort of the benefit of having that clog structure built up here. And though the tunnel's in the same spot, you can see the importance of having, you know, the Cysts in there and the RTs building while the Gorge is getting this up and running. And so now Ellen's just sitting on a nice, comfortable 4 resource towers. Marines still on 3, looking to get that C12 pipe, as I described earlier. Topo C12 pipeline built. You can see Green Rex here in Dome, sneaking nice and quiet. He is on 1 HP, spotted by the Drifter, and he's gonna... He does get a kill, despite the fact that he was 1 spit away from death. And that did cause a little bit of an alien disruption, but not a significant one. Noki poked in pipeline, not seeing any Marine activity in there. Likely setting up an ambush or moving slowly into C12 to fight with Billy and Ranger. We'll see exactly what they do here. Drop kind of moving in. I think hearing Ranger setting up an east junction. Duddy moving over into pipe. Noki likely going around him to hit... Either around him to hit him or around to get C12. We'll see which one he picks. Ranger dropping down on drop, but getting whacked by Gulag Officer. And drop. Noki sneaking past the two Marines. Possibly to attack from behind, which gives Duddy the chance to work in pipeline. Although he may go to cargo to push the Marine... or the alien resource towers. We see 3 Marines working up into Nano. This is good if they can keep the pressure on. Skulk's dying as soon as they pop out of the tunnel. Gorge pushed away, so he can't heal the tunnel. Healing Noki back up to full health. We'll see if Noki can distract Marines long enough. Probably not able to do so. Noki getting a kill, which is good. Billy jumping in by himself, getting absolutely cleaned up. Drifter making it out okay. Tunnel's down, though, and these resource towers are in big trouble here, with Marines kind of able to watch down these 2 long hallways. Gulag Officer going and finishing off the Drifter. Again, Drifter costs the same amount as a resource tower, so it's a whole... It's a reasonably lengthy expenditure for aliens, although aliens I think were also biding their time for. Lurks to come onto the field. Paperbird is up, and he's ready for business, along with Shu. And he came right in and is clearing the whole Marine push into Nano. Although, you know, Marines may be clear, but these resource towers also went with them, and that is 8, 16, 24 with the Drifter, 32 resources that the Marines were able to bag there. Great push from Marines, all things considered. Although they are now completely off the map, we will see if aliens are able to trade for anything substantial in return. If aliens can get even 2 resource towers, a reasonable trade for them. Not great, but reasonable. And it looks like Billy's going to abandon C12. Maybe come back and start biting it again. Don't see much reason to abandon it. Maybe he thinks there's a Marine poking. Pipeline Hive dropped. Maybe Billy's trying to stay alive so that he can continue to kind of offer some defensive presence. While Shu gets into position. Shu's going to fight Duddy here. Shu's going to be pushed out. Billy's going to get killed here. Paperbird coming from the other side. And Noki. Paperbird gets the kill on Duddy. No damage. And drop is toast. Pipe Hive appears to be just coming up on its own. Probably with a Drifter. I'm assuming there's a Drifter that's going to come over there at some point here. Shu's waiting for the tunnel coming up. Taking back to sub. Drifter's kind of hanging out in Nano. I'm sure it's queued up to put a pipe. 2 Marines that came in through system are... putting on some good harassment of Nano with no tunnel there and the tunnel going to pipeline instead. Aliens only getting 1 set of tunnels per hive, unlike Marines who can drop more than 1 phase gate set. You know, without the tunnel and Nano, it will be a little bit trickier for aliens if they're caught off guard when Marines walk into Nano, so just that's something they're going to have to be aware of, and I'm sure they are. We see here Greenrack's doing a fantastic job damaging Paperbird, not quite able to snag him, but doing great damage and kind of keeping him off the field for a moment while he goes back to sub to heal. Shu taking a good amount of damage to Duddy in C12. Duddy and Drop now in that area, possibly getting ready to harass the Hive here. Ranger, I think, feeling slightly threatened about the Marine presence into Pipe, is going Gorge in order to get the Hive up a little bit faster. Unfortunately, running straight into Drop, who popped out of the vent here. Drop blowing most of his ammo in the Gorge, is able to get cleaned up by this 5-man alien team. Which gives, I think, Duddy, unfortunately, although he clears the Skull, is probably going to get wiped by these aliens here. Yeah, totally clean, which is likely going to result in C12 going down. But in Nano, I mean, 2 Marines noticing all those aliens down on the south side of the map, able to swing up into Nano and clear those 2 resource towers. Which is great for them. You know, Marines may be on low res right now with only 3, but the aggression they're having this game is fantastic. If they can keep that pressure up, it might work out. Paperbird really low and dying in the vent. Kind of a weird vent here. You can see this sort of grating that Marines can shoot through, which I don't quite understand. You'd think the grating is not quite bullet-sized, but tons of people die in here all the time. Paperbird is no exception. Marines making their way from Nano now that it's cleared down into cargo to try to knock another resource tower out for aliens and drop them to 2. Meanwhile, LMG knocking Marines down to 2, which is also really bad, so we'll see how Marines are able to recover from that. You know, at some point the aggression has to make way for tech advancements for Marines, especially because their weapons are often more expensive in the long term than alien lifeforms. But we have phase gates, we have 3rd resource tower going up, but Topo likely going down to 2 Skulks, 3 Skulks. It's going to be a tight mid-game for Marines. I mean, the resource effort on Marines is fantastic, low res for both teams, but I don't really know how it's going to pan out because that Overlook Gate is going to be very difficult for Marines to hold with a sub-hive. And now that Aliens have that cross-hive in pipeline, you know, Cargo being a very safe third hive point, it's going to make it very difficult for Marines to kind of remain in the game if they can't capitalize on owning some resources and keeping up some level of map presence beyond kind of them just staying alive without a phase gate. Skylight's coming up, Topo coming back up, that's good. Looks like the two Marines hanging out in Dome. I don't know if they plan to do a gate or if they're just kind of occupying that lane to keep the alien cysts in check. Chu's going to catch John Yakuza out of position, unfortunately, and you know it's only a matter of time before this engagement ends and Green Rex dying. Looks like right now is going to be that time. And so Drop making his way into Nano. You know, it's good that he's harassing Nano, but I also really think that Marines have to get a phase gate on the map somewhere. It looks like they don't even have one in their main yet. And absolutely they've been strapped for res. I don't want to... Marines should not be sitting around waiting for resources. That's not a great move, but it's also like you kind of need to get somewhere map coverage. Or it's just going to get worse and worse now that Noki Fade is on the field. Likely Billy Fade joining at 35. So we shall see what Marines do here in the next couple of minutes. Duddy hurt, but seeing if maybe he can keep that lane held and keep Skylights under control. But with LMG player likely coming up through the vent and Paperbird coming from West Junction, I don't have the highest expectation, but Drop coming in maybe to cover the LMG player vent and Paperbird taking down Duddy. Billy snuck over to Topographical. That is not a great look for Marines. You really don't want to have Topo going down right now. You're desperate to get phase gates up. They do have the main gate now. Alien dying here. That's good. Topo savable. Let's see. He is going to get Topo saved. That's great for Marines. Marines finally getting to 4 RTs, probably maybe for the first time this game, if we look at the map. For the second time this game, although they haven't had it for a while. We have a lot of med support here in C12, which is good, but if we don't see a phase gate, I'm not really sure what the next move is for them. Aliens with very minimal tech right now, and you can see the pain of that early resource tower harassment. Obviously, with 5 RTs now, Aliens are looking much better in the mid-game. Although, with shotguns up and a gate in C12 that Aliens were not able to deny, we might see some really strong pressure coming out of the C12 gate, and Aliens kind of pushed straight away. Hurt Lurk, Hurt Fade. So we'll see if Marines take advantage of this. We have 2 Skulks going to Marine base here. John Yakuza just buying a shotgun and dropping it on the floor. 2 Skulks pushing the phase gate in main, forcing the commander out of the chair and getting some hits off, but not able to do any more than that. With all the Marines grouped up in main, though, my suspicion is they're going to push down into pipeline and sort of start that hive pressure. With 3 resource towers, it's not ideal, but it's enough. And this is sort of what I talked about in some of those earlier games, right? 4 Marines with shotguns and 1 Marine covering the phase gate so they don't lose their fast travel. 4 Marines in the hive room here, going straight for, I'm assuming, life forms and hive at the very end after the small stuff is gone. Unfortunately, Billy really cleaning these Marines for breakfast. Not much you can do when you're just down to 2 shotguns, unfortunately. Looks like Duddy holding the line as best he can while the team respawns. They might try to save the shotgun, but it's not looking good for that shotgun. And looks like Marines are just going to kind of slowly be respawning. They're checking cargo right now, and it seems strange given they're pushing pipeline, but really they're checking to see if a 3rd hive is down. And if it is, they might have to change their game plan because 3 hives, as I mentioned earlier, is really a GG situation for Marines. We're seeing a repurchasing of shotguns, but it does also look like Marines are sort of beginning to fan out a little bit more because I think they're realizing that it's going to be really tricky to push the hive in the current state. They do get a good shot on Noki, but he's out of there, no problem. We have Marines getting picked right here. And the cargo hive freshly dropped. We will see if Marines are able to make their way down there or notice it in time. It is coming up with a Drifter. Hive takes about, what, 4 minutes, I think, with a Drifter? I'm not entirely sure if that's changed in comp mod or if my math is just horrendous, but it'll take a while for this to come up. It's slow. You can see it's very slowly going up. So Marines have some time if they want to go for that baby hive before it's finished. They also have to find it and get close to it, so we don't really know. I don't really know if they're going to be able to do that. They do get an East Junction gate. One of the strongest gates in the game, for sure. And it sort of helps with Marines pushing key sys lane, which is through this dome area, and through this area from Nano. And it also prevents aliens from capturing C12, although again, with a gate here, probably redundant, but really it's the staging ground for Marines to work their way into Nano. 2 shotguns, 2 shotguns? No, it's a shotgun and a rifle and another shotgun holding the gate. With a shotgun and a rifle versus 3, possibly 4 life forms, this will be pretty rough for Marines, but they did kill the tunnel, which is good, but it's a 5v2. That's going to be a clean sweep. There's really nothing that they can do. The aliens might poke the gate. Like Shu's going to at least poke his head in and see what's going on, although both Marines kind of hiding around the corner here. Maybe Shu's not aware that they're there. Looks like he is at least somewhat aware and is pulling himself out, which is the right play. You definitely don't want to have a lurk anywhere near a bunch of shotguns. They'll get picked off and deleted just like that. DC taking a lot of damage, and he's gone. We have Duddy and John in nanogrid. Separated and picked off, unfortunately. That's more shotguns on the floor. And unfortunately, probably not going to be recoverable. If we look at the Marine P-Res, which is kind of this number down here, you know, we're starting to see some of that pinch on the resources, on the fact that they haven't had a lot of resource towers, because it costs 20 to buy a shotgun. And, you know, we're seeing sort of the second to last and last rounds of shotguns being purchased. So if Marines can't make a dent here very soon, it's going to end very poorly for them. And, you know, all of this is happening. This big nano push is happening while the cargo hive is at 93%. So, you know, the biomass might be low. They might need biomass 10 to win the game, but with 3 full hives built, it'll be very difficult for Marines to sort of recover from the situation they're in. They get wiped again in nano, and that is really not what you want to see. You know, especially as aliens get that 3rd high point up. And, yep, spawn queue starting, and the gate going down at East Junction. Being Marines' kind of last foothold onto the map. I'm not predicting this will end well for them. So we might be seeing a G. Yep, and we see a GG. So, strong match from both players, really, or both teams. But I think with that cross hive coming up, and Marine players really not able to commit to it, or get a gate somewhere in this south side of the map that locked aliens down into cargo, or locked them out of cargo, you know, it was just a matter of time. And then sort of that last few minutes pushing into nanogrid really was probably not their correct play. You know, trading 2 resources for a tech point at this stage in the game when aliens had the sides of the map, there's really nothing Marines could do. So unfortunately that closes game 1. Let me update scoreboard. So stand by for a brief freeze. Okay, scoreboard should be updated, and we're going to have a team swap. W Mouse 1, playing Marines. Rush. I know Solid Snake kind of answered your question, and I sorry for not responding sooner. But yes, the worst place to break the sys chain on Veil, generally speaking, are any way that you can trap aliens down in this south half of the map is really bad for aliens. So if you can block sys chains here, you can block them here, you can block them especially here, and maybe even here. These are really tough for aliens to recover from, because they're basically trapped in these tech point lanes. And if you, especially if aliens start on the sides, you know, if they start in sub, you block right here, aliens are completely trapped. There's nothing they can do. And that, you know, kind of what we saw in game 2 of W Mouse 1 against Bobert, you know, that's a game-losing scenario if you can do it early enough. And that's why, you know, last match we saw an excellent fog wall right there to kind of prevent Marines from getting down in here and blocking aliens out. Then obviously if you start pipe and Marines can get in here and block the sys chain, it's the same problem. And that's why you'll often see gorges kind of clogging right over here, so that Marines can't just quickly walk all the way down here and ruin your life in Dome. They have to walk around here, which is much more difficult for them, because they have to walk right next to your hive and pipe. So hopefully that answers your question, Rio Nomac the Knife. It looks like we might be going to another server, possibly.
Don't know.
Hell no, I didn't die that last game. Just spiking them, dude.
No ghosting, please.
That other game, dude. Look. You see what happens is that I play like shit so that they are like, oh, shoot's crap. Just kidding. I'm just really bad.
No, dude. You were making them think you were clinked out of your mind and you were coming in clutch. Secret play.
No, I'm washed up, dude.
I will say, pretty funny to watch you get absolutely deleted by, by Bober.
The vent killed me.
I was like, you know, she was in the vent, it's probably fine. I look somewhere else, I turn around, she's dead. I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd he go? And your fade died, and I'm like, wait, I can't miss 2 shoe kills. You're making me look bad.
That's what happens when you don't play the game anymore.
Nah, I know, dude.
You have to warm up during the matches.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, I saw Ranger take 10 seconds to assist something, and I was like, oh shit, he's washed too. Wait, is Doggo on your team, Shoe?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, Dog is a free spirit. He can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
Although his food fucking sucks, dude. I feel bad for him for that. But, I mean, everything else he can do.
I mean, that's not his fault. He's sort of limited by the nationality he's in, right?
Hang on a second. Doggo can't murk.
Oh my god, dude. So,
Nah, he's good.
are we playing here, dude? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Are we playing with Kame
I
on
feel
200
like we
ping?
should have better ping. I feel like we don't want to verse Marines on 20 ping.
Did you guys see how long our last Marine game was in the last game?
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds.
It was like 30 seconds.
Did you fuck with Bobert starting in sub last game, too?
No, we just played and killed everything.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. You egg-locked them at like 2 minutes, and it was just mad awkward.
They got Adlock, they lost Nano, they lost the tunnel, they lost the gorge, they couldn't do anything.
I mean, I feel pretty bad. That was like near perfect, like, hallway ass hitting on the Wraith Gorge.
Yeah, I was even surprised when Pleb killed him. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I was this close to being like, did Pleb turn on the aimbot or wall hacks? What's going on here? But I was like, I was looking at the angles. I was like, my geometry checks out. Just barely.
I think I even said, how did you get him?
I believe it, dude. I mean, like I said, that was a hell of a rare shot. I mean, normally I'm used to sort of your average tier, you know, around 10 corners ping moment, but it's just, you know, the angle's angled.
Are we playing here, guys? What are we doing? What the fuck?
I don't know, dude.
going on?
I'm waiting for everyone to start realizing that ping is just a number.
Okay, crossover.
Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, do that to me on stream, Shoe. Stop.
Might be. Yeah, so, okay, so if we go to a European server, our guys are going to have a lot of problems just because they're all West Coast. They're going to have over 200 ping. If we stay here, I don't know. I think it's just better. I don't know.
I mean, I certainly think that it's closer on ping, but I don't know what the ENSL strat is for Or, you know...
Even my
resolving.
ping, and I'm on East Coast, is still like 170, so...
Yeah, I'm northeast and it's 20.
I'm talking about like going to Paris or...
Oh, yeah, I got some...
Paris
Like...
don't work, apparently.
Oh, really?
The Paris server doesn't work?
Apparently, that's what Rafe said.
So we have Germany and Russia.
Nah, we'll start, we're good.
Oh, good lord, Russia. Dude, I'd have ping problems in spec.
Okay, so you guys are good with this?
Yes,
Yeah, we're
let's
good.
go.
Alright, go.
Okay, come on.
That's true.
Alright,
Alright.
then we'll stay here.
Good luck, have fun, y'all. Alright. I'm gonna check one more time that everything's going on the stream okay. Everything looks good. Okay. Let's get started. Match 2. Set 4? Lost my mind about what set we're in, but that's okay. Alright, we've got Weapon 1, Mouse 1 on Marines, and Crush in Sub start. I don't know if they think they're going to do it better. Let's find out. We're going to have Gorge immediately in system waypointing. Hopefully we see the same sort of defensive play. Marines spreading hard for the right side this time. So it looks like the Gorge and 1 Skulk play on the left might be safe. Possibly Marines might go through east in a big ball to nano, which obviously would mean that this defensive structure is minimally useful, but we'll see. Excellent clog structure here, though. The idea, you want to leave a little bit of a window so that Marines are more obligated to sort of jump through. And then as soon as they jump through, they fall into all of these slowing webs and these spike plants that the Gorge has placed, and they just take a bajillion pounds of damage. Possibly a kill if Marine is really unlucky. We come over here to Nanogrid. Looks like the tunnel's coming up nice and clean, nice and easy. Assist down to cargo. This all looks pretty standard. We do have LMG player in Overlook and Ranger coming down through west. He sees the clog well, probably assumes alien started in sub. LMG player is going to confirm that by seeing an egg in sub. Since the only way to get eggs is via a hive at this stage in the game. Duddy's going to clean LMG up before he can do any more damage. Ranger's just going to sit here, probably try to bait Green Rex out. Otherwise, he's going to probably go to a different lane, because I think, well, there's really not much you can do as a Marine except walk in here and get whacked by this Skulk. So, Ranger's try to bide his time. And this 1-1 lockup here is actually good for aliens, so that they can sit here and Ranger can't pressure any res nodes or eggs or anything like that. But Ranger's also defending Skylight, so it's not like he's entirely useless either. And Green Rex, getting a little impatient, moving his ambush up. Not a terrible thing in the grand scheme of things, but obviously if he goes down, that's going to be tricky. Green Rex revealing himself to Ranger, maybe not the best play, but he's going to retreat, which is good. Chu pushing up here, seeing if he can maybe look for some eggs, a drifter, or a tunnel. He's going to find an egg. Egg's going to go down. Might bait the alien commander out. Alien's immediately going to spawn and run away into the tunnel to keep himself safe, wait for Sue to run out of bullets. I think they might do a play. Their comm is out of the chair, so they really just have one alien here trying to hold Shu busy, while Marines are really starting to get busy in this Y-junction lane. We talked about this kind of between matches. But if Marines are able to get into Y-junction and start pushing up into here, it gets really ugly for aliens. We have a Marine now pushing Nano, we have a Marine in Y-junction, and a Marine in cargo. It's going to be a really rough early game for aliens unless they're able to make a nice clear here on these Marines. We do have Gorge and 2 Skulks possibly coming into Marine main. It looks like Ranger is anticipating that. He's going to go for the Skulk, because that's where all the structure damage is coming from. Billy's going to respawn, likely clear the Skulk. Alien Push is going to retreat back to Topo. Which is all well and good. Marines really not on high res. They're all pushed up like this, but they're not capping anything. Ranger's going to defend Skylights probably here, and Billy might lose, let's see. Billy can clear off Topo. He does not. And even though he kills the Skulk, the resource tower is what the aliens came for. Ranger's going to defend Skylights and push down south. And unfortunately for aliens, despite the fact that Marines are hurting on resources, aliens are really kind of struggling as well here. If they lose both these nano RTs, they're going to be in a rough spot, especially with Ranger breaking down into... Oh, he's going to get cleared. That's good for aliens. And, with no one in the command center for Marines, there's no med pack, so these players are hurting and will stay hurt until Ranger respawns and gets in the chair. It looks like, unfortunately, with the Gorge kind of pinned back and the Skulks not pushing, Both RTs are going to go down to Nano. Alien's stuck on one RT. We will see if these two lurks, you know, Doggo well known for his lurk. So far able to clear Nano. It's a good start. Certainly you want to see that at minimum with a 5-man into Nano. Doggo getting ready to push Paperbird out here so that they can hold that Sys lane. Gorge building the Sys, which is good. We have Cargo RT assisted, but there's nothing building it, which is somewhat... You know, you definitely want to get this captured sooner rather than later. Lurk's getting a quick spritz from the Gorge. Or healing before running into C12. Doggo taking a huge hit from Ranger. Ranger dying to spike damage. Great 3 bites by burning of DC. And then a clear on pipe here, which is great. Because clearing Marines out of the south side of the map is really what you want to see for Alien. Aliens have this nice, clear south side now, as well as Nano. And that's good. You want to see that. We have Paperbird here, probably waiting for Noki and Shu. Possibly Shu. Shu might be covering the lane. No, they're going to go as a 3-man here. We're going to see 3 people pushing in here. We have the Lurks pushing in. One Lurk taking a ton of damage on the front. That's not how you want to open that fight. Both Lurks getting out okay, but really Marines owning that fight. You can see some kind of chip damage, but that's really it. Doggo full health again thanks to the Gorge, with the Skulk coming in from behind. Skulk timing is going to be really important here because your HP is very fragile. We're just 10 to 11 bullets away from death almost all times. Great clear here, making sure this Marine can't swing up and pinch. Doggo coming in, Noki separated from the pack, probably going... Oh, Paperbird going down first, Noki going down second. Nano safe and sound. Doggo coming up, but Billy coming down. Again, if this had been capped a little sooner, this would be fully built and the Drifter would not be in danger. But with the Drifter sitting here, pop, Drifter's dead. That's 8 res lost for Aliens. And now Aliens have to deal with making sure that this stays safe. Green Rex, half health, not great for his lurk. But he's going to go in and engage anyway. He's got 2 nice bites on Billy. Billy going down, but Green Rex black barring on 12 HP. I'm sure he's a little bit clenched seeing that for sure. We got Cargo Hive dropped. That's the safest hive, probably one of the safest hives in the game. Hopefully the Gorge... I don't know if the Gorge is going to stay here and build or not. He's probably going to heal the RT a little bit. Right now, healing the Lurk's totally fine. 2 Marines in Nano, not great. We're going to see if this Lurk pops out of the vent with the... I think the Aliens are waiting for... Yeah, they're waiting for both Lurks. That's good. Marine expected the Lurk to come out of the vent, so he took a ton of damage on the front end, but he's going to stay in. 2 Lurks, tons of med packs. Skulk going down. Not... Ugh! Green Rex killing Duddy, actually, with a friendly fire bite. Again, not the end of the world. It was a Skulk there. But unfortunately, Billy going in and clearing the other RT. Aliens kind of hurt, so they had to back up. Gate going up in East Junction. This is pretty rough for Aliens. Normally you'd want to have these capped while this gate's going up, but with Marines having already cleared it, it's going to be really hard for Aliens to recap the nanogrid RTs, and if Aliens don't root Marines out in the next bit or so, it's going to be really hard to hold Nano for the rest of the game. And Aliens must know this. They're going in and pushing out on C12. Let's see, so they're going to clear C12, that's good. Scan in C12, they're going to see if those C12 Aliens are going to push up to East. Marines walking into Nano, noticing nothing in there, likely going to leave. Green Rex taking a ton of damage. He's going to go through pipe, and he's going to have a really hard retreat. He's going to have Shu coming to Dome, Billy and Cargo. Green Rex making it into safety in the vent in Cargo. He's... Oh, I hope he doesn't go. He's going to walk right into Shu if he's not careful. Doggo and Green Rex now stuck in the vent. This is really bad, because you have Billy here in Cargo. He's going to try to catch them coming out of the vent. Gorge noticing the Lurks is going to heal them, but Shu and Billy now are going to start disrupting the Lurks. Lurks are flying for their lives. Green Rex hiding in the vent. Doggo able to help clean up Shu. Billy shooting for his life. Not able to get anything more than a... Well, he does kill the Gorge. It's a big deal, but none of the Lurks went down, which is kind of the... Those are your gold prize. Was not able to quite get those. Ranger shooting at Duddy, using all of his bullets, going down to Doggo. And Marines sitting on almost... This will be 6 RTs once they capture these 2 nanogrid RTs, and Aliens, unfortunately, still sitting on 2. Fades are going to come up in another minute or so, but it's going to be awfully late fades for them. It's going to be tight. Clearing Marines here is great. Holding off the 6 RT expansion is good, especially killing this Nano RT if they're able to kill it. We'll see if Ranger's able to hold it. Ranger putting a lot of damage. Oh, new mouse. She should have committed to the RT, but it was close. Yeah, unfortunately that RT is going to be saved. And I'm guessing Ranger's going to finish it off. Yeah, and with Welders, that's going to be 100% in no time. So we have Aliens sort of regrouping here. Let's see where they want to commit next. I mean, if I were them, I'd try to get maybe Pipeline RT. It looks like they're going to get Overlook. That's fine, too. Shu's going to start pressuring down that left side, though, so we will we'll see how long they can hold Overlook, especially with all the Aliens clumped up in the middle. I really think this is probably your better RT, because you can see the Marines here are really pressured in the center and on the left. Center and left. But, oh, Doggo going down. Not great. Not great. Duddy poking C12 and then kind of moving, probably predicting that Noki's going to head to C12. He's going to go to Topo. Noki doing the same, and preparing to catch Duddy when it comes out of the vent. We got Shu and Billy here looking for shells. They've already killed one. Looks like they're going to kill a second. Yep, second shell going down. Not great for aliens to lose. Their technology is sort of in these supporting structures, and losing them here is pretty rough. We have LMG player who is just waiting for aliens to drop that resource tower before he walks right in and makes them miserable. Drifter's going to catch him, which is good. It gives aliens a chance to respond, maybe with this new Fade who just popped. Fade tech is a little slow. This is a key upgrade for Fades to stay on the field longer. So hopefully the Fade can kind of manage while that's researching. And really, a lot of the expectation is going to be that the Fades are doing okay. Again, Marines sitting on 6 RTs, capping a 7th in pipeline, because aliens were not able to do so, with a C12 gate here to really lock aliens out of pipe. It's looking bad for aliens here, and especially with advanced armory almost done. This is where Marines get access to sort of their advanced higher tier weapons, and access to sort of their endgame tech. We are going to lose the Fade to 2 rifles. That is not a good look. Taking a ton of damage, probably running out of energy and having to move in a very predictable, clumsy fashion here. Not great. You know, aliens on just 1 shell. We have Duddy Fade as the other Fade, so we have 2 Fades at least, or had 2 Fades, but now we just have 1 Fade and 1 Lurk. You know, aliens definitely operating at half-mast here. LMG player pressuring Overlook, likely going to kill it. And it's like, yeah, aliens are going to Nano, which is good, pushing Marines down to 6 RTs instead of 7, but like, you know, Marines are in cargo looking for upgrades in RTs and are likely going to kill the cargo RT. Not responded to in time, and you can see he's really just not, you know, they're going to keep our cargo RT, which is good, but, you know, once Marines get a gate near either of these 2 hives, they're very likely to just walk in and close up shop. They're currently working on weapons 3 instead of pushing. They know they have the advantage here by starving aliens on 2 resource towers while they sit on 6. And it is only a matter of time before End of Life Form screws up again and gets picked. You can see LMG player waiting for Duddy, but it looks like Duddy's going to be just fine. And you can see here that with a resource rate, it generates, you know, so slow for aliens on 2 resource towers that it's really difficult for them to recover from this. And it's gonna be rough. Oh, Gorge getting caught in Y junction by Shu and Noki. Shu missing every single bullet on the Gorge, it looks like. Goofy. And with Green Record going down, that is probably game, and surrender has been called. And some possible BM. Who knows? But, alright, well that marks game 3. Alright, so that closes all the winners bracket sets for today. I'll cover an additional scrim, I think, for the EU folks on the EU server, if they would like. But in terms of the main matches of the set, unfortunately, this is it. Watching, we went through, I think, all the brackets. Let me double check. Let's see. Brackets really quick. Yep. So we've solidified that Mouse 1 has made their way into the finals, which is wonderful for them. And then we will be sort of waiting to see how the losers bracket pans out. We'll hopefully be doing all the losers bracket matches today. I may go over and do those, or do the scrim, depending on what people would like. If you're in Twitch chat right now, feel free to let me know which one you'd prefer. If you want to watch a scrim between these 2 teams, obviously an unofficial match, or if you would like to see me go over and try to kind of finish out casting for the other losers bracket matches that I think might still be going. I will obviously wait the 3 minutes to hear from you guys, but happy to do either. Doesn't matter to me. I am going to upgrade the scoreboard real quick, though. But yeah, there we go. 2 matches. I mean, both started in the same places, so we can't argue the start was responsible. I think really it was, you know, the ultimate problem here, I think, for Aliens that last game was just losing those life farms when they lost them, and then having lost Nano kind of before the East Junction gate went up is really rough for them. And I do think that the Skulk pressure could have been much stronger. But, you know, Marines also did a good job of locking Skulks out of the key res lanes. So, you know, I want to give credit to Marines there also for locking Aliens out and being aggressive enough to sort of force them all to play so defensively that they didn't have the bandwidth to do that sort of aggressive RT hitting. But I do think Aliens probably had better shots. They went up the side lanes. You know, if we look at the map here, you know, when Marines had access to Nano, you can often trap Marines in Nano by knocking out all these side lanes, and Marines obviously insulated against that with C12 and East Junction gates, but it would have been great to see Aliens sort of move up into Skylights and then sort of swing around, whack the C12 gate, and go C12 topo, and sort of lock them in this East Junction Nano bubble. Obviously not easy to do, especially with, you know, weapons and other things on the field, but I think that's probably a better shot than trying to go for Nano and losing almost all of your life forms for a room that ultimately, at the point in the game you were trending towards, was probably never going to be recovered by Aliens anyway. You're better off probably going for Pipe, going up Overlook Skylights, and putting maybe something up here so you can start pressuring base. You know, there's some other options that could have been taken, but, you know, I think it's a judgment call, and there are multiple correct ways to go about doing it. Unfortunately, it didn't really pan out for Aliens that game, especially with their sort of last lurk dying, and that sort of being the GG call. And yeah, I mean, I think it kind of depends on the team for the not over till it's over logic, right? I think NS2 is, in general, is a game with a lot of snowballing in it and a lot of very difficult, you know, you lose your life forms, pretty much you're screwed. Unless you can get them on the field quickly again and or something lucky happens, because Marines in the late game especially will just massacre your Skulks. And you can't use your Skulks to defend hives. So if you're out of life forms and you think Marines are at a certain point in the game, you know, it can be very difficult, if not impossible, to recover. Totally on the team to choose if that's concede or not, but, you know, this game is not one where, you know, you can necessarily fight until the last minute and expect the win chances to be fair and even. It's just a lot of macro play that really matters a lot in this game that really dictate the pacing and final results. Missed the password again. Totally did. Okay, we're gonna go to Germany really quick. We're just gonna cast one last scrim here. Get one last nice match in today. Get a nice 3 hours of streaming. Let's see how everyone did last game. Let's see, 11 and 10, 8 and 10, 8 and 8, 6 and 10, 6 and 9, 4 and 5. Average accuracies look pretty good. Although you can see here that the structure damage being so close is not a great sign for Aliens. You know, generally you want the Alien team to have more structure damage than the Marine team. Unless you're Fades. And, you know, it's just unfortunate. Unfortunate to see. And yeah, we'll be starting this match on Jambi again. So obviously, anyone have any Jambi questions, Jambi concerns, Jambi curiosities? I know this map is not often played in pubs. I argue all the time it is a terrible map for 10v10, but it is an excellent map for 6v6, just as much bread and butter as Veil is. And I think that, you know, there's a lot to talk about for folks who are less familiar with the game, less familiar with Jambi itself. It's really got a lot of really nice features that make it really well suited to 6v6 competitive play. So obviously, you know, we can do a little tour through some of the rooms. Obviously a little bit on the gray side, but, you know, if there's any rooms that people want to look at, you know, a lot of topography that is designed to sort of make fights interesting without making them sort of cluttered and confusing. You know, just kind of going through the left side of the map first. We're going all the way up here through Oregon. And you can see how the resource tower is sort of tucked behind this wall. You come over here into Pipeworks. This is sort of where a lot of the aliens tend to want to start. Come down through this very long hallway into Oxygenation, and this is sort of that really key pinch room for this map. Come down over here through this kind of awful room for aliens and coolant. Down into Waste here, which is where you got your second major hive point. And then you go through here, you see some verticality in Baywing, where the RT is over here. And then there's sort of these kind of pathways inside and a ladder here for Marines. Come down through here, big box on the way, so aliens have a little bit of cover. Come into here, this is sort of the Marine natural, which is sort of the natural capture points for Marines. And then you have sort of gravity over here, which is sort of your center map point. You can see it's kind of split into 3 sections. You have kind of a section over here, sort of a big open section over here with this large object in the middle, probably gravity control system. Then you have sort of a third section over here with the resource tower and the hive and the power node. Just a kind of a brief tour of the map, but yeah, happy to answer questions, do what is needed. Just kind of do a chill cast here on the last match. Alright, well, apparently... Okay, alright, the teams have explained that this is apparently... They forfeited Game 2, so they have decided to make it 1-1. I'm gonna listen to the team that chose to... Well, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it... I don't even know what to do with the forfeit into losers bracket. Alright, this is a scrim. I'm going to treat this like a scrim. And that should be fine. I'm going to keep the scoreboard the same. Write down they won. Let me see what I can do. Update the scoreboard. Alright, scoreboard's updated. You'll see that in a bit. Yep, I'm ready to cast the scrim. So I'm. Oh, but we are missing a couple players from Rangers teams. Assume they're logging in now. Let me quickly see if Green wants to hop in. So if someone asked for an explanation of this map, I will do that while we wait for people to start. Generally speaking, this map has sort of like, similar to every other map in this game, there's sort of key lanes, right? So you have a lane through here, you got a lane through here, and you got a lane through here. And you have a sort of sub-lane through here. And these are all the points where Marines are going to want to cover, right? Because this is where the resources are, and this is where aliens are. Aliens really need to control this. This is the key parts for aliens. If aliens can control this, they have a chance. If they can control kind of this U shape here, they're in excellent shape, right? So the idea being that the key choke point right here, key point, right? Because this is where the end of one lane and the kind of sort of middle point of aliens' key lane. You're going to see fights from really skilled players over here to try to block. You're going to see fights actually in Oxy. You're going to see fights in sort of Baywing right here. as these two lanes intersect, and you're going to see fights around here as these lanes intersect. And then obviously you're going to see fights kind of pushed up and around as teams are ahead or behind in different lanes. But generally speaking, that's the way that this works. You're going to see arc pressure right around here if Marines want to do that into waste. You'll also see sometimes arcs here pushing into pipe at the very end of the game. But usually you'll see shotguns coming in here, or into here. Okay, and with that, we're going to get the scrim underway. Aliens starting in pipeworks, and Marines starting in their basic start of docking bay. Big group is going to construct the arms lab. That is what you'd expect to see from high-level play. Just to get Armor 1 started as quickly as conceivably possible. We're going to have 2 go into repairs. That's good. So we talked about those lanes earlier, right? You're going to see 1 taking here, 2 taking here, 1 taking here. Sorry, 2 taking here, and 1 taking here. You can see a Skulk has already snuck their way down into this lane on the south side, and you'll see here... Not mean to misclick that, but... Anyway, you'll see that he knocked the Skulk out down there. That's good. We open up our lane map again, then you can see the MAC is totally protected as long as the Marines are covering right here. And they are, by being in Oregon early. You can see aliens are trying to capture that U shape, right? So they're trying to get into Oregon. Drifter goes down. That's 8 res in the toilet for aliens. Not great. Depends on if Gulag Officer can get the assist. He does not. RT's going to come up here, which is good for the aliens. But again, they lost a Drifter, which is not insignificant. You can see here that this is totally sealed with clogs and crap. So this Marine, unfortunately, looks like he can get in, but he's stuck until he can pop these. He does sneak in, which is good. 2 Marines in here. This is exactly the choke point that you don't want to see, right? You don't want to see Marines in this choke point in Oxy. As you can see, this whole lane is now cut right there. We'll see a big, desperate fight here from aliens trying to clear it. Let's see if they get that success. And they are able to clear it, which is good. And again, it's close to the hive. You'd hope they can clear it, but it's not always the case. You can see while aliens were all here, Marines said, I can come up through this lane and start poking Oregon. And while this is happening, while aliens are forced to play so defensively, this is where Marines, generally speaking, need that breathing room in order to get their resource towers up and running. So really what you'd love to see is a Marine or a MAC in electrical core capping, gravity capping, maybe even upwards into Bay Wing. So we'll hopefully see that, but, the longer it takes, the more time aliens have to get back on the map, their pressure going. You can see that's what they're doing right away. You have 2 aliens coming down here, probably looking to hit supply lines. And unfortunately, the Marines are kind of going up here, so they're going to miss each other, which is not a great look for the supply lines RT, who's just going to be completely isolated and in big trouble. We do see Marines capping gravity here, which is great. Would love to see Marines on more than, 3 to 4 RTs this game, for their sake. But we do have 2 Marines that made their way up to the north side of the map. And again, not the end of the world if aliens don't have anything in here. They don't have anything to lose yet, but they have to clear this before Marines get phase gates. And they might wait for lurks in order to clear this, which is completely normal, not a big deal. But Marines might take this opportunity to take these 3 Marines, drag them into Oxy, and cause a lot of trouble. We'll see. Ranger caught out of the vent, struggling, can't find the vent, dies. Which will give Duddy a window to sneak his way into Oxy. He's going to take a ton of damage from the Hydras. Billy will probably clean him up here with Shoe. Yes. Marines capturing waste. This might seem a little aggressive that Marines are way over here capturing waste, but the benefit is that this is generating resources for your team, and for 10 resources, you're blocking aliens from capturing this, even if they apply assists, and they have to spend alien effort in order to clear that resource tower. So it's not always a terrible investment to drop a resource tower like this if you're guaranteed to hold it for at least a little bit. Remember, a resource tower in this game takes about a minute to pay for itself. So if you can do that, it's always worth it because it will generate resources for the team, for the players, and for your commander. So you want to keep these up. Generally speaking, keep them up for around a minute. You always want to place one. Lurk killing himself for seemingly no reason in Coolant. Not sure why he did that. John Yakuza just kind of walked in and oops, he got a free Lurk kill. I don't know about that. They are assisting into waste, but you'll see here exactly what I'm describing, right? The Gorge can't build a resource tower until this RT goes down, so he's going to have to force the Lurk, who could be on the field being aggressive, forcing them to bite this resource tower instead. And that means Baywing gets to stay up, that means that 15 Bub gets to walk in and get himself killed. Sorry, just assuming that he's going to die here, yep. And that gives time for 1812 to kind of move his way up into Baywing and maybe defend it against the Billy Skulk. Gives John Yakuza a chance to work up his way into Oregon. And maybe gives Duddy a chance to respawn and get back on the map before too much is lost from Marines, although We shall see. Paper Bird, I don't know why he kind of poked his head out, but he was probably cooked anyway, in fairness. With Marine coming from the other side, so I'm not going to bash him too hard for that. Ranger in the vent waiting for Marines to kind of walk past so he can jump out and grab one. But Duddy's going to spot him and do a ton of damage on the front end. 1812 is going to jump in the vent, see if he can clear him. Not quite. The angles, the geometry did not match up perfectly for him. Lurk causing all kinds of hell here in Bay. He's fine. Billy's going to sneak through trash, go down into repairs, start biting that. It's good. Want to see that Skulk, and this is an important thing for Skulk players, right? You don't want to necessarily, if this RT is mostly full health, it's not worth your time to keep biting it and have the Marine come and kill you. It's much better to go around the Marine, drag him on a wild goose chase, and instead go for another resource tower and force the Marine to spend more time walking around than it did for you to go through the resource tower, right? So this is a great play by Billy and very standard for high-level play, but you can see, you know, he went from dying here to getting a resource tower killed by himself. You can see Marines here finally capturing Electrical Core, and then sort of Doggo putting some pressure on Ranger Skulk. So maybe he'll get him. Nope, not quite. Ranger Skulk doing exactly what Billy just did, right? Because I can't go here. Swinging around south to here. And causing some more trouble down here. Pulling 15 Bruv way away from the electrical RT. And bringing him down here. Noki dying to Doggo. Oh, dying an organ to Doggo. Not the greatest place to go down as a lurk, right by the hive, by yourself, but Doggo's an excellent shot, so perhaps there was some overcommitment there. Sad I missed that fight. I didn't even realize they had lurks on the field. I guess paying more attention. Do that, but, you know, this RT's going to be saved, but, you know, Noki's lurk is much more valuable than this resource tower in terms of Marines, considering that a one fight. 2 Skulks here against 15 Bruv. I think they're just going to run at him, and yep, that's going to be a kill. No Marines over here to stop the aliens from clearing 1, 2 RTs. Not great. Phase Gate's going to come up in main. That's good. And a Phase Gate in Bay. That's excellent. So Marines really now getting some control on the sides of the map that they need the most. And especially with this waste hive at 96%, it's going to come up in time, but with 2 Marines, 3 Marines now pushing right in with rifles. And the alien team not there. 2 aliens out of position. No lurks. The Gorge pushed out. And nothing but 2 Skulks. This is going to be a tight fight for them, unless they can get... And they did just get Fade Res, so maybe they can get Fades in time, but there might be a lot of damage done here by these 4 Marines before aliens can do much. Billy Fade, the Fade, you know, pulls the Marine come out of the chair. Marine comes out of the chair, kills 1, kills 2. Gate almost dead in the Marine main. 3 more Skulks coming in. Marine comes dead, so he can't come and save the team with a beacon. Gate in main is going to go down. Noki Skulk's dead shoes. So the alien team did just wipe, but they did get the gate down in Marine main, which is 15 res down the toilet, a whole bunch of Marine kills, and it does put them behind in terms of pushing waste. It gives aliens time to get that Fade, Billy Fade on the field. So a great counter push by aliens, and we'll see here, you know, as Marines are now spawning in and trying to recover that Baywing situation, we'll see a bunch of Skulks running in and just getting slaughtered. So Marines able to hold their gate, which is good, and they're able to cap Baywing. Great. And it does keep the pressure off of supply lines RT, so Marines are able to hold 4 here, 5 if they get gravity. But, you know, at the same time, aliens now have a Fade on the field, and Fade's very difficult to work around. We will see if that Fade can deal with this many rifles. Holy cow, Billy taking a ton of damage immediately. You know, Fade is good, but a Fade, I don't know how much a Fade can do against 3, 4, maybe even 5 Rifle Marines. We really need to see some other support here from other members of the alien team. Paper Bird, Skulk, and Ranger Skulk coming in to see if they can do some damage. Possibly go for the gate behind the Marines. Doggo predicting that, killing Ranger. Paper Bird going down, but distracting this Marine so Billy can bag the kill. 2 Marines against a Fade is pretty rough for them because the Fade's getting constant healing from the Crag and the Hive. And you can see Billy's doing exactly that. He's kind of hiding behind the Hive so that the Marines can't really damage him, and waiting for them to run out of bullets so that he can then kind of dive in at the right moment and get the kills that he needs to get. Bone Wall coming up, blocking these 2 Marines from these 2 Marines, but Alien's not quite able to commit. It's a lot of damage that Marines can output here, so you just gotta be really careful with your Aliens. Skulk going in with the Fade. Skulk dying, 2 Skulks dying. Fade almost dying, but making it out. Shoe Lurk adding some spike support, which is great, which is sort of applying that ranged pressure. Billy going in for a swipe. Even one swipe is big, but the Hive goes down. We see Shoe Lurk taking a huge beating, but getting out alive. Beacon to keep Marines respawn. Remember, a beacon not only brings all Marines back to base, but any Marine in a spawn portal is also immediately brought back to base. So this is a great way to get Marines back on the field when they die like that, and they did die in mass in waste after the Hive went down. Really the key thing here for Marines, right, is to spawn, get in bulk, show up here, clean out this room. They need to clean all this out as soon as possible. shift hive for aliens, which is great, so they can echo, meaning they can move their structures. Anything around a shift can be echoed. And they're able to pull out a lot of that expensive structure investment. They are going to lose the tunnel and the resource tower, and ultimately the tech point. And any research going on in the hive, any biomass in the hive is all lost. So, you know, despite the fact that aliens are building an electrical core largely uncontested, this is still a big win for Marines. You know, it gives them access to this whole section of the map. And if Marines can get set up in Oxy, it's going to be very hard for aliens to hold pipeworks. Even though aliens are absolutely doing the correct play by capping electrical core here, while Marines are very much occupied in this part of the map, they're capturing this. So the plays here are excellent by both teams so far. We're going to see if, you know, Doggo's poking offload, sees a lot of alien attention, that might be enough to make them believe that electrical core hive is dropped. We'll see Billy Faye taking, oh my god, okay, he's out. Let's see what he was at. He was at 114, so he's out. Shoot almost dying. In gravity, he's gonna be safe though, unless he goes a strange direction. 15 Bruv trying to pinch, not quite able to get there in time. John Yakuza and 15 Bruv meeting up in Oxy against Paperbird. And now Billy Fade, you know, Lurk and a Fade against 2 rifles is usually a shoe-in fight. We'll see. Both life forms hurt. Paperbird very hurt. He's gonna get out. Both life forms hurt, but they're gonna have won the fight, which is great. You know, Marines are now gonna build a gravity gate, possibly a staging for getting into Oxy. We'll see. And they're gonna let aliens get this electrical core situation going. Noki causing a bunch of trouble in Marine base. He's killed 3 now. Or is it 2? 3 now. I'm gonna check the console. He got 2 kills there. Knocking the IP down pretty hard. Commander's out of the chair and dead, meaning that he can't provide any meds. This is great. Aliens now putting an amazing play on Baywing. They're going to kill the gate here. You can see here all the Marines are dead, and if they continue to go there, they're going to make the death queue even longer. And they correctly turn the phase gates over so that they can at least hold gravity and not lose the entire map at once. Aliens doing a great job with 2 lurks and Waste trying to knock down those Marine resource towers. Duddy waiting for his team to respawn before he commits. Obviously, if more Marines die when there's a bunch already dead, kind of an oof. But, you know, aliens on hurt res, lost the hive. I mean, it's not insignificant what they lost here. So, you know, Marines are not in a bad spot despite the fact they got routed out of Baywing. It really kind of boils down to what the next set of plays is here. You know, if aliens get that Waste hive back up, that is going to be really rough for Marines to come back from. So, no shotguns or anything either. So there is going to be some difficulty here. Paperbird might be in a tough spot here if he gets caught by Doggo. Doggo's going to try to catch him. Not quite. It's going to be safe. Okay, so we got a bunch of aliens kind of ready to hit Waste here, but we also have 2 Marines in Oxy who might try to pinch this electrical core alien group. We'll see. It looks like the aliens are going to try to sneak around and whack. Okay, Baywing did come up, but with 4 Marines on the field here, you know, that gate is kind of a false operation because that's all their team force. You know, these 2 Marines getting distracted by Paperbird might be enough to keep the gate safe. You can see all the aliens that were here are pulled back because they can't afford to get shot off the gate. So great play by Marines in order to kind of keep that gate safe for now, but if they spawn lock, they're kind of in trouble. You know, spawn lock, of course, being pretty bad. For either team, it's the process of being queued. It means a player can respawn with another player unable to start their respawn process until the first player respawns. This is just a scrim. The matches are theoretically over. You can see here, excellent play by aliens, kind of locking Baywing down again. Aliens working on their 5th RT. Pretty tough for Marines to come back from this if they're not careful. I mean, again, the aliens are low biomass. They've had to spend a lot of resources reteching. That's good, but Marines need to tech up themselves. They are stuck. They haven't teched up in a while, and it's beginning to show. Really need access to some other technology here. Aliens about to get an onus on the field. Which would be bad for Marines, obviously. Weapons 2 finally started, which is good. An extra 20% damage from base damage for Marines. It's going to hurt life forms, it's going to hurt structures. It's a very strong upgrade, so definitely good that Marines are getting that, but I would love to see shotguns on the field. You know, especially against all these lurks and fades. You know, a great shotgun push from Oxy into Pipe might close the game. And not having shotguns against Onos is going to kind of sting. Because rifles against Onos is a tough match. Tough matchup. Gonna see here, Paperbird starting to kind of poke his head into gravity. He might be coming here to pinch into Baywing, but he's really overextended. You know, if Marines notice he's there, might pinch him in gravity on the way out and do a ton of damage. So you can see he's spiking in repair, and almost immediately you can see Marines kind of getting into position, try to pinch from trash, but by then the lurk is long gone. Gravity gate open. It's 3 aliens, now 4 aliens coming to gravity. I don't think that gate's gonna make it. Yeah, 15 buff gets absolutely wiped. We're taking a ton of damage. Okay. Lots of... Oh, Shoe Lurk going down to Doggo. Oh my goodness. Doggo literally just lasering Shoe. From 100 to 0. Near 100 to 0. And you can see Aliens still own the room in well, we'll see who owns the room in Gravity. Depends on if Aliens can recover and get back into it before Marines can get a phase gate back up. But it looks to me like Aliens have largely abandoned the room after taking the gate down. And again, you know, the gate's going down sounds like not a big deal, but now that's 15 res, the Marines have to reinvest into a phase gate, and Marines have opted to go shotguns in order to make sure their tech is in order. In the meantime, by leaving Gravity open, you've kind of opened a space for Aliens to get back into the game. Obviously, Aliens on 5 RTs is also fantastic for them, so I won't argue with that sort of macro play, but from a micro perspective, you know, Doggo trying to put some pressure on the RTs is good. You can see Aliens have an interesting tunnel and oxygenation. They know that this room right here is the make or break. If Marines get a gate in here and they get set up with shotguns, there is not a... It's really hard for Aliens to come back from that. So they're really working their ass off to make sure that that room is well defended, especially with a tunnel to help Aliens fast travel in there. And you can see here, Lurk Fade showing up in a split second in order to keep that room safe. Billy taking a lot of damage. Yakuza trying to pinch him with the pistol, not quite able to do so. And right now, we just have Marines in this kind of interesting holding pattern. See any shotguns in the field? Duddy has a shotgun, okay. And obviously shotgun's poor at range. You can see him trying to shooting Shoe off and sort of shooing him away with the pistol. See a gate come up here in Gravity. So Marines have sort of reset, which is good. Waste is owned by Marines. That's also excellent. But, you know, the problem here is that Marines need to make a play. Right? You can see Aliens are slowly making use of that resource glut that they are getting from the 5 RTs. And now, I mean, there might be recapping a 5th in a second in supply. Supply did go down. Tunnel entrance got recycled, possibly so they can start moving. Yep, they're going to start moving for Gravity. I mean, Aliens want that center map coverage. It is a 3rd tech point, but it is also a really valuable way to get to Marine res nodes. And you can see here, Aliens enzymed, strong as hell on the gate. Enzymed is the red effect that is being spammed by the Drifter. That speeds up Alien attack speed. This gate is cooked. The Marines have to be really careful they don't take this pressure to Baywing, because if they take it to Baywing and they're able to get Baywing killed too, that's bad. And Marines are able to catch it, which is good. It's 2 shotguns and a rifle. You can see this sort of cheeky robotics factory over here. We haven't seen a robotics factory yet in this stream, but this can pump out both MAC units, which I think you've seen. Is the MAC unit still alive for Marines? No, it must have gone down early. A MAC unit is sort of like a welding, constructing unit, and more importantly, and you can see they've got that tech research here, the ARC Robotics Factory, which allows them to research siege units, which they can position in order to kind of get a hive down without having to have Marines physically in the room. And you can see this is a bad sign. With Marines capping Gravity, Aliens knew that Baywing would be wide open, and they have taken full advantage of that, and they're coming in with Enzyme and the Drifter to clean this gate up. Gate comes up in Gravity, which is good, but, you know, Marines are in a rough spot. You're fighting against the Onos. Somehow missed Duddy killing the Paper Lurk, even though I was staring at the room. It's unfortunate. And you can see here, boom, all this goes down. And that's not great. It's a lot of investment that just went down the toilet for Marines, and until they find this tunnel and knock it out, it'll be hard for them to hold 2 of these rooms at once, as Aliens continue to just bounce them back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And we'll start to see, you know, an attempt to get this up here. Aliens already having a nice presence of structures here in Baywing. They're ready to drop that hive at 40, which is, of course, the cost of a hive. So let's see if we can... So the Duddy's going to get the gate up, which is good, but... You might notice the hive in a second here. He definitely notices the sys chain. There's no hive yet, so he might catch a Crag off guard and bag the Crag. There's nothing, no aliens in here, and I don't think any sign. I mean, we have Billy Fade that might be going and visiting. Fade Noki dies in offload, which is good for Marines. Very good for Marines that Fade is down here. Can we get another one? Not anytime soon. And Marines, you know, having killed this tunnel, Gravity much safer. They might be able to refocus their efforts on Baywing into waste recycling before that hive comes down. They've dropped a scan to sort of scare the aliens, because they know aliens know if they drop this hive, Marines know about it. They come in through Baywing, big group comes in, hive's toast. So they're gonna wait for that scan to fade before they drop the hive, most likely. Doggo getting skill difference somewhere around the map. I don't know exactly what that is. Whip in place, probably to keep Marines. And you can see how you place these whips. This is how you place a whip right. So you can see, you know, a whip doesn't have a lot of range. Let's see here, not a lot of range. So what happens is, you're coming into the room, and boom, Whip is getting a slap immediately. And that's critical, because that's another thing that has to keep Marines busy, and you can see this unbelievable wipe. 3 shotguns down, Marines are spawning, Gravity Gate is probably all they're going to have left in a second, because the Onos, the Fade, and the Skulk are going to whack this in a moment. Doggo might be trying to recover a shotgun. He does successfully get a shotgun. He's probably going to go down to the Onos right after, and that shotgun is unlikely to be safe for long. Depends on if John Yakuza wants to save it, but, he's probably going to suffer the same fate, right, with an Onos right here. Blur getting caught, not quite. You can see aliens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 RTs, 7th if they capture Baywing, and they are trying to. It's going to be tough for them, for Marines here, to recover from this. What we really need to see from Marines, a Lifeform kill, and we see Doggo with an HMG, possibly considering doing that Lifeform kill from the back, but I think he's going to opt for a safer engagement elsewhere instead of getting cleaned up here. You can see Marines, and this is what happens when you have the whip that's within shot, right? The Marines are coming in, they're shooting from max distance, and that whip is cooked. That's 13 res down the toilets. It's not great, but, aliens sitting on comfortable biomass, comfortable resources, they're willing to waste 13 to keep Marines busy. That is not a problem, especially since the whip was so useful in this position here. So again, aliens looking for that hive drop. Gates back up for Marines, which is good. Marines are going to clear this RT. Before it is able to come up online. But aliens know this, and they are going to go for Baywing. And this is the same problem that I described before, right? Back and forth, back and forth. And there's really not much the Marines can do about it unless they force a play on aliens. A gate here would be great, a gate here would be fine, and they're going to call GG. I think they see the writing on the wall. It's going to be very difficult for them to come back from this. And I think we are going to see a GG called, even though, Marines could have something come back, but they call it. And that's going to be the game number 3 on Jambi. All right, well, I'm going to see if I have any other casting commitments here, but I think that's that. Let me just double check that I am good to go. Great match to watch, though. It was really nice high play in Jambi. It was good. It was fun to watch. Fun to commentate for sure. Hopefully everyone on the stream enjoyed. It was definitely nice to go through and do that scrim again. It's great to watch these kind of high-level teams going at it at some of the even the map may be bread and butter, and the gameplay may also be bread and butter, but just at the level of play, it's excellent to watch. Sort of this the team cohesion and the plays that were happening on both sides. So, I mean, really, GG's to both teams. Great to watch. Great to experience. And yeah, I mean, it was good matches all around. Obviously, we'll be around tomorrow at the same time at, 5 o'clock GMT to stream the Grands. But, yeah, this was the end of the winner's bracket. And a little bit of a scrim, a little bit of a gift, an extra bonus scrim. But we're gonna check one more time with the Evans and make sure this is the last matches that need to be looked at here. But otherwise, great games. We'll just we'll wait a hot second and see what the next step is. But in the meantime, if anyone has any questions about... I'm going to turn off stream delay. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to Alt-Tab and turn off stream delay. If anyone wants to, hang out, ask any questions in the meantime while we sort this out, feel free. Although, I guess if we close, I'll close instead. We'll see. Let's see. Stupid. Just leave the stream delay on. Yes, there's a 3-minute delay. 3-minute delay is still on and will be on for the official matches in order to ensure that both teams are definitely watching the stream, and I want to make sure that both teams are not getting stream sniped. Not my goal. My goal is to cast the matches, make sure everyone's having fun watching the games, not not accidentally create an unbalanced and uncompetitive setting for our teams. Okay. Well, I just got the call that this is the end point of the stream. Obviously, thank you all for coming, being patient with me while I got everything set up. Wonderful matches, great to play, great to hear from you guys in the chat. Hopefully you guys had fun, and we will be back at 5, a little before probably 5 p.m. GMT tomorrow. That is 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time for you US players. And I will see you guys then.